In a world where news flies around every minute, you need the ability to relate and connect with what matters and stay up to date. Schengen Story Media News Echoes program is Africans in Diaspora and at Home's leading English news network, one of the most trusted, respected sources for news updates on current affairs as they affect global Africa.
Who joined.
Hello, viewers around the world. You're welcome to Between the Lines. Between the Lines, the very last day of the month of June 2025. What that means is we'll probably have another day like this in this in the month of June. June is gone. 2025 June is gone. So, but we are here as we normally do to kickstart the week. My name is Magodin Iwejuwan, and joining from Toronto, Canada is George Chuku. George, welcome to Between the Lines today.
Thank you so very much, Mac Godwin, and viewers from around the world. Thank you for logging in with us today in Between the Lines. Thank you.
Yes.
All the way from Canada, we're saying hello, hello.
Georgie, you're full of smile today because you guys have stopped the tariff, the tax that was coming on the United States. We'll come on that later.
We'll talk about it later.
But joining us also, George, from Lagos, Nigeria, is Ogbeni Olayinka Raji. Ogbeni Olayinka Raji, you're welcome to Between the Lines.
Good evening, Mark. Good evening, Sir George. Good evening, viewers around the world. Welcome to our Monday program, Between the Lines.
Yes, welcome indeed. Raji, interesting stories there. Our president has never slept in any of the states in Nigeria for more than 2 nights. He has never stayed in any state, Kebbi State, Sokoto State, name it, as a president of a country. But our president is going to stay 9 days, 9 nights in a beautiful country, though, a beautiful country right there in North America. So we'll come to these guys. We'll come to all of these stories very soon. Raji will tell us what they pushed our president to go and do in faraway St. Lucia. All right, gentlemen, let's go in straight into what's happening. To begin with, George, Raji, there are new arrangements with Nigerian political parties. I think there is probably this thought that when a new boss is on, then new ways of doing things, new way of winning might also follow. George, tell us what's happening with PDP, APC, ADC, and all of these parties changing their national chairman.
Well, everybody's clamoring to find a way to remain relevant. That's what you're seeing with all the political parties, and everybody's trying to find a way to defeat the current government. So you see a lot of shiftings and a lot of movements taking place from different political landscapes in Nigeria. So it's all about relevance and how can we win Tinubu in the second term. But whether those things are possible or not that's the question that remains to be answered. So that's where we are right now. So what you're seeing is there's new chairman coming in with different parties, and everybody's shifting things, and so let's keep on watching and see how things will take place before 2027 electoral period comes.
Let's keep watching before 2027. Now, Raji, I can speak for a party called ADC. That's African Democratic Congress. ADC has also changed its leadership. We now have one senator, David Mark. I know you all know David Mark. David Mark has been, in the political scene for some time now. In fact, he has been there even before some of these people you have now. So David Mark will be steering the ship of ADC. And what they plan to do, this is what they plan to actually do. They plan to have a coalition of all these men from different parties come to ADC and form a group. So you have Atiku Abubakar, that former vice president. You have Nasiru El Rufai. You have Rotimi Amechi from Kaduna, and they are also trying to drag in Peter Obi. But my question is this, Raji: all of these things, can they still go head on with APC?
Well, they've started early enough, which I think is good. But then an early start is also means that you have a long, long, long way to go. I hope it will not eventually come out like a gang up, because then I'm sure the APC will put that negative tag on it as a gang up of disappointed old cargoes who are trying to make themselves more relevant in Nigerian politics. No, I do not think that I'll be very happy to vote for any party which David Mark is the chairman, or it contains people like Rufai or Atiku. And I can assure you that sentiment is very, very rife. I don't know where Aregbesola will end up in, but if he ends up in ADC, he will just bring more mud to the waters.
Bring more mud to the waters. Strong words. Anyway, gentlemen, that's David Mark there. David Mark has some. He has been on the block for some time now. He has done some things in his own way. So what I think is happening is they want him in to facilitate that coalition and to make a very strong impact. Also in APC, you have that Ali Bukar Dalori. Ali Bukar, we did some background check. He also has done his thing politically in the north. So he will also be the acting chairman of the APC. So all of this means it's going to be real tough 2027. But we're talking 2027 when we've not even finished 2024. George, we've not even gone through 2025, and we still have 2026 too. What is wrong with us?
Well, the problem is that APC have claimed to be a very formidable force to deal with, and the way APC has been going, it's almost like an authoritarian type of outlook in their pursuit of things in Nigeria. So now you're seeing a lot of people rising up, because if you remember, during the PDP era, it took the northern coalition with the West in order to defeat Jonathan. And now everybody's clamoring to find a way to defeat Tinubu, which I think is practically impossible. I'm sorry, but this is the Nigerian political system. So when we know how things work in there, Asiwaju will finish his 8 years. That's all I'm going to say for that for now.
You've always said that, George. Okay. Yes. It's
To me, you see, the coalition is tending to become a coalition of so many forces. I cannot trust David Mark, who got so much money from the country. He owns a golf course somewhere in Ireland. I cannot put my trust in him.
Okay. So, viewers, we are talking between the lines. We're here today, and we're discussing the new sheriffs in the Nigerian political parties. Ali Bukar for APC, new chairman for APC. David Mark, new chairman for ADC. David Mark is out to on a mission to put the coalition together and make an impact in 2027. So let's see how all that plays out. But meanwhile, while all of this is happening, PDP is not having good time. PDP meeting today, as at this afternoon, they are supposed to have their BOT meeting, Board of Trustee meeting, but all of a sudden it was rescheduled. They were all driven out and told they can't use the hall. I don't know if
which
you
is
guys are following that story. They can't use
which
the
is
hall.
quite
Police.
unfortunate. It's quite
Yes.
unfortunate because
Mhm.
it will look as if APC government has a hand in it. Let there be
No,
a
but but
level playing
but but
ground.
is their man Wike that is the head of the head of FTC that is in charge of the territory, and he's the one probably doing this to his own people. Do you understand? He's
But
the one that has
but
blocked.
we know that Wike is neither bat nor mouse because a PDP person so prominent in an APC government and doing everything to disrupt PDP, that's indecent.
George, what will you
Well,
say? Blocking.
the political
Uh-huh.
parties in Nigeria is becoming a joke. I mean, we are going so far away from what we call the political norms, the way it's supposed to be, into something extraordinary. I mean, whether they did this thing intentionally or they just wanted to disrupt the meeting, we don't know. We can only, you know, maybe we can just, I don't know how to really describe the whole entire thing because it is very tiring when you look at some of the things that are happening. But one major issue is that PDP itself is at there's an internal chaos, and they have become so mundane from the days of Jonathan, as a matter of fact, when he was even fighting for the second term, the real second term, before he gave up the election. So what we are seeing now is a fragmented political party that used to be, the force of nature in Nigeria, but now they're just there, because there is nothing new that is happening. And that's why a lot of people can leave, PDP and jump over to APC because the APC seems to have a little more structure than the PDP. And, so it's just a joke, honestly speaking. Because even at this particular time, until the real news comes out, the reason why they were driven away from that particular place, we don't know. We can only allege. Maybe this is something that is done intentionally or to disrupt their meeting, or whether it was a PDP themselves sabotaging themselves over some things that are happening. So we don't know. Until then, we can find out the real truth.
Yes, thank you, George. We're still wondering what could have happened there, but there was that shift from their meeting venue to another place because police took over their office and the secretariat was locked down by armed men. Yes, we for now we probably will not cannot give us a very sure reason why that happened, but we know that PDP at this point in time doesn't look good. A lot of um, 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 issues around them with their leadership, with their arrangements and everything. Okay, Raji, we would like to know what probably happened, why the meeting didn't hold. So if more on that story could be looked into, I'll be okay. Before
Yeah,
we go on, let's
thank
just do a small one on that elder statesman. He has been a very strong force in Nigeria and even in Africa. We're talking of Alaji
Dantata.
Aminu Dantata. Yes. So,
you.
Raji, what do you know about Dantata?
Oh, um, in fact, the history of Nigeria and the economics of Nigeria cannot be told without mentioning his name. He has been a very,
Mm,
very interesting financial person. He's been a strong businessman, and across the north, he's known as a solid businessman. His worth will probably be over trillions. I understand he's also an uncle to Dangote. They might have given Dangote his seed money. But the man looks quite young at 96, and he seems to have been well taken care of has taken good care of himself. People like him don't indulge themselves in too many uh, of these current day delicacies. And you look at him, you could pass for 60. Pass for 60. My condolences to the family. He lived a good life, and he died well.
George, what do you know about Dantata Alaji?
Alhaji Dantata, he passed at the age of 94. This was actually confirmed on Facebook by his personal secretary, Mustafa Junaid. He's founder of Express Petroleum and Gas and part of the influential Dantata family. They're very, very influential and expanded into oil, construction and banking, agriculture and real estate. He did his public service, was served in Kanu state government and part of the 1979 Constitution Drafting Committee. He's a very well-known philanthropist. He funded schools and mosques and health centers and orphanages across northern Nigeria. So the man is very prominent, and so I think he received a tribute of NACCIMA, Yuba Tanko, and other praised him for his humility and legacy. He was just a very humble, modest man. And condolences to his family.
Condolences to his family. Then the other news we got also is that he'll be buried in the holy city of Medina. They said that was also where the wife was buried. So, and I think that's like the highest honor that can be given to a Muslim faithful, a believer, because that's a sacred place. The Raji, tell us, being buried in Medina. What do you say?
Well, it doesn't make much difference to me where anybody is buried. But that was his final wishes. Good for him. May his soul rest
Mm,
in peace.
mm. Okay, thank you guys. So, our condolence to the family of Dantata. Dantata was a great man in the north in Nigeria. He did a lot nationally, and he'll be missed. So, gentlemen, let's come to other stories. Raji, I hope you can see us because your frame looks frozen.
I can
Let's come to other stories. So you can see us, Raji.
I can
Um,
see you. I can hear you.
good. Gentlemen,
Your video is so blurry.
yes, I
Very
think
blurry.
it's no, it's probably the network. It's probably the network from Nigeria. Okay. We woke up this morning to hear more on this whole thing around Senator Natasha, that senator representing Kogi North. And we're tired of this whole thing. Believe me, I am tired of this because it shows that our leaders, our politicians are also petty, looking for ways of silencing this woman that brought an allegation that nobody is even talking about. We've not even talked about those allegations she laid out. George, tell us, what's your information on this? Senator Natasha being arraigned on alleged cybercrime.
I call this a political. It's so laughable when you really look at what is going on with this lady and the way the government is really going. I call it a political
Vendetta.
juvenile hogwash. That's what
Mm,
I would term it to be. Because Natasha being arraigned, over a fresh defamation charges. She pleaded not guilty to 6 counts related to the allegation against the Senate President Akpabio and ex-governor, Governor Yaya Bello. Bail was granted. Justice Umar granted her bail on self-recognition as a senator and a senior lawyer also. And her lawyer, Prof. Roland Aturu San, emphasized the opposition, no opposition in the bail request, so they granted it. But what we're seeing right here is really that our politicians have embraced this authoritarian type of attitude, which they have, just taken to themselves. It doesn't really matter. Okay, number one is this woman is alleging that, Senator, the Senate president sexually assaulted her. That has been swept away, and they're trying to cover it with all this nonsense that they are really doing. So her appearing in court today with her husband, Chief Emmanuel Uduagan, and activists Aisha Yusuf and other supporters. So the trial is set to resume in September 22nd, 2025. And this is her second arraignment. Charges stem from comments on live TV alleging plot against her life by Abio and Bello. So these things are so childish, if you ask me. And Nigerian government need to be very, very careful how they deal with this situation, because there will come a point when some of these people that are involved in this will be barred from traveling abroad and going to certain places if care is not taken. And when this thing becomes a little more international than what it is right now, hairs will roll from Nigerian government. I can guarantee you that, because there are so many Me Too movements that are really going to be taking place if care is not taken. So they need to be careful.
Okay. Yes, Raji. Thank you, George. Raji, don't you think this is going off the whole thing? Her case has not even been addressed. They are just laying allegations on her again. Tell us, Raji, what's your take on this?
Her accusation has been now turned against her, and the federal government has taken it as a case for the federal government to prosecute instead of a simple case of two fighting. The federal government is now becoming very, very petty, because all this thing, whether it's from Akpabio or for the government, everything now is now devolving onto the government. The government is now becoming very, very petty in the whole process. In the first arrangement, they did not even serve her the papers. They just expected her to come to court, and then they'll probably arrest her and take her to prison, which is very, very petty. That the whole state police apparatus will be deployed to subject a sitting senator to ridicule. In fact, it's ridiculous, and the cake is in the face of the government that you are being ridiculous. First, her suspension was even illegal.
Being ridiculous. Viewers, we are talking about Natasha, the senator from Kogi State, that was arraigned for alleged cybercrime, even though she was granted bail. But we are saying that it's very petty. Her own case against the Senate President Opapio has not been addressed. They've just, like George and Raji have concluded, they just swept that under the carpet and they are bringing up their own. Can you imagine? This is interesting.
Her accusations against the Senate President cannot be addressed because the federal government is not taking it as a case for them to persecute. Therefore, it will remain. But then they are turning it against her that she has accused the Senate President wrongly, and therefore that's why the government is now taking her to court for.
It's sad. We see justice being truncated, being twatted, and we're just watching it, seeing it happen live before us. It's interesting, George. All right, gentlemen, let's go into more stories. We have a small one here before we go on the break. There is actually a very strong alert on the heat wave in Europe. George, I know you guys are not experiencing that. The heat wave in Europe is getting out of control. Some places are beginning to have this bushborne the vegetation begin to ignite fire, sparks. George, but tell us, what do you think it will get worse? Are we going to see more very
Well,
horrible? Mhm.
I think this might be part of that, global warming situation that is really taking place, because, today we're just hearing about, we had a heat wave situation for about 3 days in Canada, but now
Okay.
the weather is very comfortable, very beautiful. And then a fierce early summer heat wave grips Europe as a whole. The
Mm.
temperature soaring above 40 degrees
Mm-hmm.
centigrade in multiple
Mm-hmm.
countries. For instance, Spain, sets a new June record. El
Yes.
Granado hit 46 centigrade. Spain, the last one, the last time it was like this was in 1965. Portugal on a red alert. Lisbon faces extreme temperature, prompting red
Mm-hmm.
warning from weather services. Italy, the country that you're in, also, it says heat alert. 21 cities, including Rome, Milan, and Florence, placed on high alert. Greece
Place on
warns
high
of
alert.
wildfire. Yes.
Right.
And then London is sizzling. They are being
Yes.
barbecued in London. UK braces for its hottest day in the year. Wimbledon
Yes, that's true.
breaks new open day heat record. It's crazy. Germany, France, they are all
Everywhere.
struggling areas. 39
Yes. Let's
degrees
see.
centigrade. It's
Let's
incredible.
see this small clip on it. We have this clip from the house.
Wow.
So,
Even
so
even
what
animals, even
mhm,
animals in France, they say
are
that
suffering?
even birds are suffering the heat wave. Some of
Yes,
their
yes,
nests are over 40 degrees centigrade. So
exactly.
animals are
And
even
what
suffering.
suffering. And what happens is when it gets to the extreme, you now have this flash flood. Tap, 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 tap. The whole place will flood up again, and
Hmm.
couple of hours again, heat will start. It's crazy. So, so this is what we're
It's crazy.
experiencing. Let's just do small, like we did last time, small health tips that could help people in the weather as we go into this very extreme weather. So, some of the things that we suggested, George, you were saying that last time is one, people keeping themselves out of the sun between a certain time, 11 in the morning till 3 when the sun is strongest. You could keep yourself out, drinking plenty of fluid, plenty of
Yes, water.
water, and
Hmm.
avoiding too much alcohol.
Hmm.
Heat doesn't go
Hmm.
too well with
With
alcohol.
alcohol at all. That's
Yes.
right. Hmm.
Staying in the shade, using sunscreens, using high SP rating uh, uh, pomades and body creams, and also taking a lot of water. George, is that not what you said?
Yes,
Lots
yes.
of
You have to stay
water.
hydrated and make sure you drink a lot of
Hmm.
water. If you have any
Yeah.
place where they have swimming pool, you can go into the swimming pool and cool off a little
Hmm.
bit. But stay
Hmm.
indoors if you don't have all these amenities, like places where you can go and swim
Hmm.
or river where you can go and cool off yourself. So you can stay
Hmm.
under the trees and make sure that you don't come out during when the heat is so, like you said, 11
Very
to
strong.
about 4 o'clock. That's when
Yes.
these things are happening.
Yes.
So you may just make sure
Yes.
that you drink a lot of fluid and stay yourself.
Yeah.
And then most elders ought not to ensure also that They don't go out in the heat and find
Yes,
places to calm down, to warm down, because strokes
warm
can happen.
themselves.
Yeah, so
That's it.
to keep cool, keep cool.
Raji,
That's it.
Raji,
Yeah, yeah.
Africa is not experiencing much of this. Nigeria, how is the weather and how are people coping with what these situations when it arises?
Africa is God's own continent. We don't have these
Mm,
extreme temperatures. I'm surprised that temperatures in Europe could go as much as 40 degrees centigrade. Wow.
42. Mm-hmm.
Yes, that's quite
Mm-hmm.
high.
That's
I
high.
don't think I've had situations here where the heat has gone beyond that 40 degrees centigrade. Hardly do you have it here in Nigeria. Thank
And
God for it.
even when you have it in Nigeria, you also have this breeze. The breeze, the wind blows steadily,
Yes,
and it
yes,
keeps the place, even in that hot
cool.
heat, you still have cool
Yeah.
temperature. Yeah.
On,
So,
on,
but
on,
most times in
no,
Europe, mhm.
until you get to Kano, you can get temperatures up to 50 degrees centigrade in Kano, in all those
Ooh,
northern areas,
whoa,
further north, Jigawa and all those areas, yes,
Hmm.
which are very close to
whoa.
the desert. But down south here, we are blessed.
We thank God. All right, it's all good. All of it, very extreme. Hot weather, cold weather. It's all God's
Yes,
arrangement. But we hope it doesn't kill our people.
yes.
Gentlemen, thank you. Let's go on a small break. We'll be back. Just short one, a short one.
In a world where news flies around every minute, you need the ability to relate and connect with what matters and stay up to date. Schengen Story Media News Echoes program is Africans in Diaspora and at Home's leading English news network, one of the most trusted, respected sources for news updates on current affairs as they affect global Africa. Elevate your new week, fuel your success. SSM invites you to kickstart each weekday with our news update Between the Lines, featuring the week's top news and analysis and the most attention-grabbing lines, deciphering world events. Hook up to SSM Monday program Between the Lines.
Yes, George and Raji, are you guys there?
Yeah, we are here,
Yeah,
Nice,
live and
good.
direct.
George, tell us. Canada drops the plan to tax most UK tech companies.
Hmm.
Yes, tell us. Let's hear that update. We
Yeah,
heard.
yeah. Canada drops the digital services tax, which actually brought about President Trump, warning and stopping the conversation between Canada and the U.S. The move aims to, boost trade talks with the U.S. And then also we see that Canada wants to secure a new economic and security deal benefiting Canada workers and businesses. And then also Prime Minister Carney and President Trump target July 21st, 2025 for
Mhm.
an agreement, so they're still talking. So Finance Minister Champagne to introduce a legislation halting the DST. So that's so that it can go into effect. And then
Mhm.
so what we are building is a prosperity and strengthening Canada with a U.S. Economic partnership.
Plan.
So that's what
Okay.
we're looking at right now.
Good. Raji, do you think this will help? It was something that could have gone the other way if Canada hadn't done this. But you do we see Trump coming into good alliance, good partnership with the Canadians? Do you think this will spring more cordial business partnership, Raji?
it it can only be better for both countries. It seems
Mm-hmm.
as if maybe was it cold wave or something that was affecting Trump, that he was doing zigzag with all this threatening both friends and enemies about tariff hikes.
Okay.
I think maybe things have cooled down with him now, and he's beginning to be more reasonable. Of course, the new government in Canada are so level-headed as to able to, and they're able to stand up to Trump and stare him down on his threats. I'm sure it's good. It's always good to have a good relationship with your neighbors. But
Yes.
yes,
Yes. 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 Very true. So viewers, Canada has dropped that tech tax that would have come on the US, and George has just told us now that this will allow for trade talks between the two countries to restart, and it will also mean US tech giants in Canada, Amazon, Meta, Google, Apple, that we are facing a 30% charge on the Canadian soil, will now probably have a more lenient approach and business model with them. So sounds good, George. Sounds good. We want to see more good things spring up between those two countries. Nice. All right, let's go into one of the major discussions today, gentlemen. Our president is in far away, very far, in a country where a beautiful country. The country has almost everything you can think of in terms of natural resources and everything. Now, I wonder what our president is doing there. But for now, let's look into this. George and Raji, our president is in Lucia, St. Lucia, in North America. George, what do you think he could be doing? And why St. Lucia? Why that place, that
It's
island?
it's a small country. It's a small country. St. Lucia is a small country, and a historic state visit aimed at deepening our diplomatic and cultural economic tie between us and St. Lucia is a very important country actually, because Nigeria and St. Lucia have some deep historical ties with many of the citizens of African descent tracing their roots back to Nigeria, actually. And, there is a cultural heritage that we share also, especially with
Mm,
Afrobeats, music, Nollywood,
mm,
literature. The influence is in St. Lucia a lot, especially showcasing those, during the famous Gross Islet street party that they usually do every year.
okay,
So St.
okay.
Lucia also hosts the OECS headquarters, serves as a gateway to the 15 CARICOM nations with a combined GDP of 130 billion. So when we enter
Mm,
into them, we are accessing some of these other countries, with all of this. But, in
okay.
Nigeria, there has been a lot of criticisms about the president going for this type of visit.
Mm-hmm,
When we had mentioned before, what is happening in the middle belt, he never went to any one of those until there was a cry out for him to go and
mm-hmm,
visit. And even some of the places that were flooded with water, we saw
mm-hmm.
bodies, decaying bodies all over the place. If it
Oh,
wasn't for the press, who kept on pushing Tinubu to go and visit this airport, which he did, and it became also a grandstanding event. Instead of mourning the dead, they go over there to become sycophants, the governors and all those type of things. So, but what is happening now? Both countries are committed to democracy, which Tinubu was hailed when he arrived as
mm-hmm.
the ambassador of democracy, in Africa. And also Tinubu will speak to their, to what do you call it, the House of Commons, or their,
Yes.
the government.
Let's see.
He's
Let's
gonna be
see this
addressing
clip.
them there.
Okay, let's see this clip of him arriving. We got this directly from the publicity, the presidency public team. Then Raju will also tell us some of what the man has gone to do there. Viewers, viewers, what you're seeing is our president, Bola Ahmed Tinubu, with the St. Lucia Prime Minister, and it's a landmark meeting. Bola Ahmed Tinubu and the St. Lucia Prime Minister, Philip Ferrer, they agreed to establish some formal diplomatic relationship, paving way for cooperation in trade, in culture, in education for both countries. Pretty good idea, though. Good idea.
Actually, this particular visit also is very rare honor to those people, because Tinubu's visit is the first by an African head of state since Nelson Mandela's visit in 1988. Making it a very, very rare honor. So we see that also he's scheduled to speak to a joint session of the St. Lucian Parliament in the Clinton named Sandals Conference Hall. So it's going to be, it's okay.
Yeah, Raji, tell us what do you have on this?
Yeah, it's a good visit. What about economic outcome of it? I really do not know, but it's a good visit. It's a link. The population of St. Lucia has a lot of black people with roots in West Africa, so it's a good connection. And I just mentioned the first African president to have visited that place was by Mandela in 1984. That's a long
88,
time. 1988. Okay, that's a long time. So it's just a reconnection now.
A reconnection.
Some people have been saying that he's going on a holiday, which has been what some press has been saying in Nigeria. We cannot actually. I don't know his itinerary. So whatever decided is a 10 days visit to St. Lucia, and for whatever reason, well, it's okay. He's the president, and we wish him a safe journey back to the country.
Okay, nice. Also, let want our viewers to know that that's a beautiful part of the world. That country has some of the best natural vegetations you could have in anywhere. Natural, and also the people themselves are warm, very receptive, very welcoming. I don't know if maybe where they are, they feel like a little bit isolated. So when they see guests, visitors, they really embrace them, they welcome them. George, have you been to St. Lucia before?
No, I have not been to St. Lucia, but
George,
it's a small country. It's a small country of just less than 180,000 as of 2023. 180,000 people as of 2023. Yes. So, it's a small country, but it's full of good resources and stuff like that.
Yes.
Very, very
beautiful rainforests and stunning beaches. The beach is beautiful. If you look there on the screen, viewers, let me also say that we welcome our viewers. We have a number of them with us. If you look on the screen, where you have the square red mark, that's where the country is in the world map. So it's in between the South of America and the North America. So it's just on that pathway. Beautiful place. We know, Raji, we know these places actually were the den of slavery, while they were bringing those slaves from the other side of the world, the South Africa side. This were where most of them came to. It was easy to put them there And but they turned that island into something else, paradise, beautiful. Maybe that's why Tinubu wants to stay there for 9 days. He wants to relax. He wants to enjoy the scenery, the beautiful scenery. Raju, would you like to go to St. Lucia? Would you want to have a night
Of course,
there?
of course,
Mhm.
and spend 9 days like the president.
Nine. All right, gentlemen. We don't have. We were supposed to have a guest, but it didn't turn out. So because of some of our topics were uh cut off, so that we could have that guest. So I don't know, George, what do you have that we've not that could be of interest today?
Well,
What do you have?
well, there's something that is happening in the U.S. You know, the big beautiful bill is being debated over
Yes.
now. Yeah,
Yeah.
so we saw that also that Republicans pushed to pass that massive tax bill, by July 4th, and this I
Hmm.
think is in the Senate right now. Democrats floored the floor with amendments. GOP leaders defend the bill as pro-family and pro-economy, but Medicaid is one major concern that they are having because the Republicans has been trying to cut off this Medicaid, which can actually, bring a whole lot of people into a chaos, medically. But some Republicans, including Senator Tillis, criticized the cuts, warning it breaks Trump's promises. So
Hmm.
House vote expected earlier. Earliest House vote could be on Wednesday, July 2nd. Pending
Okay.
Senate approval. So these are what we
Yeah.
have, currently. So
Currently.
until
Um, Raji, I
Yes.
have this one for you because I know you're a Leon man. Now, does this big, beautiful bill, does it knock off all the efforts that Leon did with the Doge arrangement? Does this not, because this is still coming out to put so much that he tried to cut from governance, What do you say, Raji?
When I look at the initial gra that Elon Musk was doing, he didn't really understand what Trump wants to do. Trump is a businessman. You can't cut expenses. You can't cut expenses.
Business
So,
people don't cut
uh,
his
and,
face.
and yes, and that was one of the reasons why uh, Elon Musk had to leave because he was
Yes.
surprised that additional 36 billion was going to be spent on
Mm-hmm.
what he has thought he was cutting down. So I don't know. Yes,
It's
Trump is a
serious. So
businessman. He's doing business with everybody.
he's a businessman, he's doing business with everybody. So the mega bill, viewers, the big bill, the mega bill is
the
on
big
tax.
beautiful
George said,
bill.
yeah, big beautiful bill. It's on tax, also food program and some other things. George, now when this bill is finally set, when it's probably both houses, both sides agree. Do you think it will usher in prosperity into the American economy,
Well,
George?
you see, what you see most of the time is most conservative parties, like what you call the Republicans, they go from top bottom, and most liberal political parties, their ideology is from bottom up. So you see that most of the time, when Republicans come out with a bill, it will favor the rich because they believe that the more you give to the rich, the better they become by employing others. Meanwhile, the rich hardly pay taxes because they have the resources to be able to circumvent and find loopholes in the tax breaks that are given to them. So this is part of the reason why. But this is a place where politics works because you see a lot of Republicans coming out to argue in favor, and then all Democrats they go against it. And if they're able to convince a few Republicans to join the Democrats, then the bill
Mhm.
will not pass. And this is it. But if you come to our own country, the way things are is quite different because everybody, both the PDP and the APC, everybody is afraid. Nobody wants to come against anything that the government is bringing forth. So you hardly see any type of tangible democratic type of process happening in our country. So as we are heading towards one party system right now, because that's the way it looks, that is the way it is seeming. We gotta be very careful so that the political ideologies that differ from one party to another could be able to be seen, and a lot of people will gain out of it. So that's what we are.
Georgie, nice. Thank you so much. Raji, want to
Yeah.
thank you too. The network says thank you for all the time you put into this. So, gentlemen, let's go. We'll be back on Wednesday. Maybe by then we would have seen Tinubu maybe bloated up from too much enjoyment in St. Lucia.
Not so
Rosy
fast.
cheek.
Well,
God.
our advice to Tinubu: drink a lot of juices because some of their organic juices are very healthy. It will rejuvenate your
Wow.
body when you come back, so you can take on the task of governing our
Oh,
country.
nice. You're looking fresh. I like that. Places like that, George, things will be natural.
Oh, it's
They
all
won't have
natural.
all these.
It's all natural.
Yes, natural, because it's just the land itself is natural. No vegetation, no, nothing is polluted. They don't have all this crazy industry blowing air, blowing fossils and all these things into the air. Powerful. All right, guys. Thank you very much. Viewers, this is it. Between the lines, George Chuku from Toronto, Canada has done well. Raji Olayinka from Lagos, Nigeria has been here. And Godwin Iwejuwa from Milan, Italy. Till we come again on Wednesday, have a beautiful new week starts.
Oh, that's
Thank you.
wonderful.
Bye-bye.
In a world where news flies around every minute, you need the ability to relate and connect with what matters and stay up to date. Schengen Story Media News Echoes program is Africans in Diaspora and at Home's leading English news network, one of the most trusted, respected sources for news updates on current affairs as they affect global Africa.